information, the senses are getting them. They're from touching, from hearing, from whatever it's going on. Billions per second is going on. So this is part 2. What is the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind can easily be understood when we compare it with the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is that part of your mind you are not aware of, which performs involuntary body functions. What I mean here is that there are things that I'm doing and I'm controlling. I'm lifting my hands, I'm talking, I'm deciding, I have problems with my laptop, I'll do something about it. But whilst I'm doing that, there are processes, chemicals, and reactions and functions that are going on in the back room, as they say in banking, that I'm not even aware of. Do you know, as I'm doing this, my body is digesting the food that I ate. My temperature is being controlled. The heart is beating. I'm not the one controlling the heartbeat. So there are a lot of processes that are going on. All those processes are controlled by the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is part of your mind that you are aware of, or that does things that you are aware of, which performs voluntary functions of your body. I lift my hand and I speak, I do this and that. Now, let's compare the subconscious mind with the conscious mind. We are just looking at the mind and the heart. Now we are looking at the subconscious mind and the heart and the conscious mind. The size of subconscious mind is 90 to 95%. The conscious mind only makes up just 5 to 10%. The brain mass, the part of the brain that the conscious mind covers, is only 17% versus 83% of the subconscious mind. Memory, limitless. The memory of subconscious mind is limitless. It has recorded everything you have ever done, you have ever experienced. It has recorded like in a movie, like a video camera. It has found it. The only problem is that you cannot recall. But if something similar to what you've experienced come up, then you'll be able to retrieve. They say that the conscious mind can only hold 7 facts at a time. Memory horizon, the subconscious mind is forever. The conscious mind is 20 seconds. Okay, I've repeated myself there. The subconscious mind is a seat of habits and emotions. Is a seat of habits and emotions. Speed. The subconscious mind is extremely fast. The conscious mind speed, I don't know how they measured this, is 190 to 204 kilometers per hour. The subconscious mind is 160,000 kilometers per hour. Now, let me give you an example. When you are driving and your conscious mind is there, you are controlling, you're avoiding the other vehicles, but whenever you have an emergency, the subconscious mind takes over. Okay? It takes over. Because your conscious mind is too slow, is too inaccurate to be able to deal with the situation. 2,000 bits per second, that's how much information, whatever that means. We just have to know that this is a lot of information. 2,000 bits of information per second, the conscious mind processes 4 billion bits of information per second. Judgment, or the subconscious mind, takes things literally, accepts everything as true, real, as long as you believe it. The subconscious mind doesn't care. So you remember, whether you are dreaming or you are seeing it, the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference. You still, the best example, the best example is you go to watch a movie, or you're watching a movie maybe on a device but it's better if when you're watching it on those big screens with those sound effects, and then there's your favorite character, and they're about to bounce on that character, then your heart starts beating. But the mind knows that this is acting. You even know this is acting. There were people who were filming. So, but we know, the mind knows that this is not true. But the heart doesn't care whether it's true or not. It will still feel. You know, sometimes I've seen people watching a movie and they start shedding tears. That is the disconnection between the heart and the mind. Those days when I used to watch action movies, I didn't want to watch action movies with my wife seated next to me. Because she would just be saying, faith. Oh, can a person jump from there? Oh, that's not the issue. You know, us men are controlled from the mind, and we want our minds. The mind has to be captivated. You know, even things, and men love rough things, competitive things, even the type of sports that men, of course, when women join in, they go to extremes. So the subconscious mind takes things literally. What you've imagined and what is real does not matter to the subconscious mind. What is a lie and what is the truth, it does not matter to the subconscious mind. As long as you believe it, the brain will begin to work and act on it. And now remember I said, the title of this is that your subconscious mind can be a friend or your enemy, or foe. That's what we are looking at. Number of functions that can be performed at a time. The subconscious mind can perform trillions of functions at a time, whilst the conscious mind can only perform one activity at a time. An example, when you are learning to drive, actually driving is not even a conscious mind. It's not a function of the conscious mind. It's a function of the subconscious mind. Because driving entails doing several things at a go. Okay? Now, it's not that these days people don't drive cars. Cars drive them. Because gears are changed automatically. But all the same, imagine you are driving, and as you are driving, and the best time to explain this is the first time you get in a car. You are learning to drive. So, you start driving, and it's a manual car. So you are driving, then the instructor says, Madam, change gears. You have to look where the gears are. And when you look where the gears are, what happens? You go off the road. Even a slight look, you go off the road. Because you have to drive, then you have to change gears. You have to be looking in the mirror. You even have to be trained. You should be looking in the mirrors. Now, it's very mechanical. Did I look in the mirror? Even when there's nothing that you are looking, you are checking for. So, but as you are learning, actually, the driving lessons is just training the mind. The mind is recording. As you do it habitually, as you are doing it habitually, you are learning, the brain starts making judgments. Oh, this is how it is, this is how it is. And imagine you are learning and you see an 18-wheel truck coming. What happens? The road looks small. There was a woman I heard of was taking this trip. I don't know how long she took. Every time she sees a truck coming, she parks. No, the roads are full of trucks. I think it's that time when we didn't have a lot of trucks. She wouldn't arrive these days, Because when you look at it, it looks like it's coming to hit you. One man told the instructor told the woman and said, Madam, do you know that these two trucks, They bypass each other. One going this side and that. So this road is big, but the mind doesn't know. So the subconscious mind has to be trained. It's programmed by habits. The same thing you do when you are driving. This you'll be driving using the conscious mind, but eventually the subconscious mind takes over. You don't have to think to do your actions. Like remember one time I was telling you that I got so scared. I reached home, I didn't remember how I turned, how I passed the traffic lights. I just found myself at home. There are also cases where you just find yourself, you've done something and then you're wondering, but how did I do it? Because it means now your subconscious mind has taken over. Of course, there is also a difference between men and women. Women can do more things at a time than men. And you really have to train yourself. Now, if taking care of children was given to men, the survival rate of babies would have been very low. Because God did not design us. In spite of your human rights and the gender rights, God did not design men to take care of babies, especially when they are young. Because women can breastfeed a baby or in a sleep. They do all sorts of things at the same time. But if you tell a discussion, I don't know whether this has happened to Chimwe, but it used to happen with my wife talking with my son. Then the son is washing plates. They are busy chatting with the mother. The mother is talking and doing her work. She's talking, she's cleaning. My son starts talking, he stops working. Then the mother says, "Why can't you?" "But while I'm talking." This is the difference. But the subconscious mind does trillions of functions at the same time. You are thinking, you are processing, the temperature is being regulated, the immune system is fighting diseases, and all sorts of things are going on in your body because of your subconscious mind. So that's so control perception and behavior. The conscious mind only controls 2 to 4%. The subconscious controls 96 to 98%. And that is why goals are not achieved. In other words, if you believe something, you believe that you can do it, you'll find that belief will help you to succeed. If you believe that you cannot do it, I'm going to explain probably next week about how that what you believe is what you start seeing. In fact, they say we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. A bitter person always sees bitter people. That church, they don't laugh. That church, they do this. That one. But a loving person is always seeing. A story is told about two people, a doctor, a fashion designer, and a dentist. They went to a party. The dentist was only seeing teeth. The dental formula of these people is terrible. The other one was seeing designs, patterns, and the dentist was not even seeing those patterns. The policeman only sees. The policeman he suspects everyone until proved otherwise. I don't know. Those of you with training, I don't know how you've become Christians. Because you're always suspicious. My wife has a background of security. So she's always very cautious on security issues. As who are trained as social worker, we are always looking, we think all people are nice until you are robbed. So the subconscious mind does not sleep, the conscious mind goes to sleep. Some exercise that the experiments they did, thinking. The conscious mind only thinks in one place. The subconscious minds, there are 5 places where the thinking takes place. The conscious mind or the subconscious mind is a seat of habits. So everything that you do repeatedly It's like you're programming yourself. It becomes automatic. The subconscious takes over so that your conscious mind, which is limited, can focus on those things that require decision making, that requires your will. That's why when they hypnotize you, they can tell you to do the most foolish things because the conscious mind has been suspended. When you sleep before the TV, the conscious mind is the one that selects what's right and what is wrong. The subconscious mind actually just takes in everything. So everything. Now imagine you have developed habits of failing. Your habit is failing. A habit is an automatic response to a stimuli. That's a definition from the book. Biology, way back, over 40 years ago. So in those, the things you do without thinking, you just automatically do them. For example, when I'm putting on shoes, I put the shoes the same way every day. Start with I don't know, right or left. I can't even, but when I try to do, I'll go to whatever thing that I do. So now imagine you've created a habit of failing. So anything you touch, automatically it fails. Automatic response to failing. That's why some people have habits of success. Other people have habits of failure. You know, to know a person, you just have to see me, be with me for a short period of time. You begin to understand, say, no wonder pastor is like that. You can be able to say, no wonder this one has not gone very far. Because there are certain things that we do repeated. Those things, we have programmed ourselves sometimes to fail, sometimes to succeed. Because the subconscious, you've been doing this repeatedly, the subconscious mind has taken over. So that's the challenge that we have. So in conclusion of today's session, major roles of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind performs 3 roles. It runs your biochemical operating system. You know, because the body is ZESCO, it's everything. It's a lot of things. Breathing, temperature control, digestion, immune system activation, cell formation, and communication. The cells are communicating to each other, to the brain. The brain is communicating back. There's kafuafa in our bodies. You know, that's why I think when a person says there is no God, that we came through evolution, how can you be so educated and be so dumb? Because how can all these complicated things happen accidentally? It runs your programmable software, your habits, routines, attitudes, and beliefs. The third thing, it connects you to your maker. So when you are saying the subconscious mind, we are talking about the heart, which talks about your emotions, which talks about your emotions, your spirit, and other aspects. So the subconscious connects you to your maker. Those are the 3 functions, the 3 major functions that happens in your life. Now, of course, we'll conclude looking at the mind next week. But what I want to prepare your mind is that when you clearly know how your mind operates, the devil also knows how your mind operates. The devil knows which part of you he needs to influence. Okay? Remember the scripture that we read. It says, out of their heart flows evil things that defile us, that make us dirty. So when a person commits thefts, a person steals. Remember last week, I think I mentioned, you don't steal to become a thief. It's not stealing that makes you a thief. You steal because you are a thief. It's nature. It doesn't matter. A person who has stolen $3 trillion and the person who has stolen 5 kwacha, no one is more thiefic if there's anything like that. than the other. You are both thieves. It's even better when you steal, you steal big. Because even if you steal a small thing, you have still stolen. Okay? So, when we understand our minds and how they operate, our hearts, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, how that the conscious mind is the entry point, you will find that we are going to be careful of the things that we do. Okay? Let me just illustrate that briefly. Now, we get information using senses, the 5 senses. Of course, there's the 6th sense that is not here, where you download from the spiritual world. So you have hearing, we have a sense of hearing, and I don't know why people get annoyed that you have nonsense. But the nonsense has nothing to do with these senses. Eh? Okay, anyway. Hearing, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of touch. These are the ways in which we obtain information. But most of the information comes through sight and hearing, particularly sight. That's why advertising on TV is more expensive than on radio. Now, as you get this information, those billions we're talking about per second, there is a part in your brain, that is called the reticular activating system. This part here is the one that controls where the information goes. Okay? Now remember, we talked about the mind, the subconscious mind. One biologist said only 134 bits of information, or 7 chunks of information. He says that when things are happening, you are only aware of 0.00004067%. That's the information you're aware of. As we are seated, billions of information, the senses are getting them. They're from touching, from hearing, from whatever it's going on. Billions per second is going on. Now, they say, if all this information was to go to the conscious mind, you run mad. It's too much for the brain. That's why it's too much. But so this one determines the rest of the information. It routes them to subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind, the conscious mind can't handle it. Now, this has an important bearing on the things you see. Because what you see will depend on primarily 2 things. Number 1, things that are unique. If something is strange, we see a lot of things. The mind will alert you to something that is new. Okay? The RAS will alert you. Yeah, actually, there are 3 things. Something new, it will come to the conscious, meaning you'll be aware of it. Okay? Then, like if you go to a new place, you'll be really watching. The good thing is in a house. When you go in a dirty house, the wall is dirty, there are spiders. But as you stay there, they all disappear. Have you noticed? They are there, but that information is no longer being communicated to your conscious mind until visitors come. Then you just look up. In fact, several of them, even the spiders, spider web, all over, the spiders are running, chasing each other. And you are hoping when a visitor is trying to look up, you'll do like this. As if by doing like this, you control the mind of the visitor. The other thing that the mind does, how the RAS controls your information you receive to go to the conscious mind is when you're in danger. When you suspect there is a snake, you jump first. And then you confirm when you are in the air. Because if you wait to confirm whether there is a snake or not, you'll be dead. Okay? So anything that is dangerous, the RAS will make you know so that you can do it, but also the subconscious will take over so that you can do right actions. And then the other thing, what we see, what the mind makes us to know, is what is important to you, what is valuable. And that is what is important in success. If failure, if you're a person who's just critical, who think you can't succeed, you can't achieve it, the brain, this part becomes your enemy, because what it is saying, it's saying, oh, the information you want to see is only for that one that confirms failure. Okay? So you sit, and if you believe that all people are evil, you will only be seeing evil people and you will not be seeing good people. A man was giving an example and said, my mother believes all men who wear hats are bad drivers. So what happens here is that when a good man with a hat, a good driver with a hat, a man with a hat, does something good, the mind, this part will route the information. That's not the information you want to see. But when a bad driver wearing a hat, or a driver does something wrong and is wearing a hat, it will say, you'll be aware of it. Those of you who have bought cars before, have you noticed that sometimes you think you are going to buy, this car is the best car, it's the only one. As soon as you buy it, you find that there are so many cars. You are even wondering, what was I thinking? Because that car now becomes important, then this will be telling you, see, here is another one who has that car, here is another one who has, and you find there are so many. All this time those cars did not just show up because you bought a car or because you wore a particular dress. They've always been there, but they've not been important. Anyway, let's conclude this aspect of cars and mind. But it's very important for us to understand the mind, the conscious. We have to understand why the devil attacks our mind and is consistently attacking us with information. He's consistently. And it's important because all these things are determining and controlling our future. That's why the Bible tells us to guard our hearts with all diligence, because out of it determines your course of life. It determines whether you succeed or whether you fail. It determines whether you go to heaven or you go to hell. It determines whether you are going to be carnal or you are going to be spiritual. It determines the character that you are going to form. So that's why it's very important not to just look and see anything that is before your eyes. Not to watch anything. Not to listen to anything. Not to be and go anywhere. Because as you are in those places, you can say in Enalikosa, information is being filtered subconsciously. More than 99.9999 of information that is happening in the environment where you are, you don't even know it. Then you get surprised how that you start having, after some time, you start having certain desires. Where have they come from? They've been deposited in your heart, subconsciously, and you start feeling them. Some of the actions of the things we do now is based on actions we did in the past. They've been stored up in our hearts. The stubbornness, the sinful desires. Let's rise.